Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
Right. Here's Johnson on,
Johnson. You talk about apples to oranges. There couldn't be a more clear contrast between that and what we're talking about here. This is the Judiciary Committee. This is the Weaponization Committee. These are properly constituted and operating committees under Chairman Jordan's leadership. Have done extraordinary work, methodically, constitutionally, appropriately, and now we come to this impasse with the Attorney General himself who refuses to comply. Look, this is an Article 1 issue. We've got to get it covered well, and I think we will, and I think that's why this contempt will pass on the floor. So
they just are immune.
I love a count from Swalwell.
Pardon me?
I love a count from Swalwell on how many days Jordan has been not following his subpoena, and he's leading the committee.
Yep.
And it's one ridiculous, show after another. The Mayorkas impeachment, the Biden impeachment, now this, contempt for Merrick Garland thing. Here's a reporter with Johnson again.
Back to former President Trump and with his arrival here, near the Capitol, really for the first time, Republicans are both the House and Senate meeting with him since the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Are you committed, or have you spoken to him about basically not doing anything like that again and committing to respecting the sort of American tradition of a peaceful transfer?
Of course he respects that, and we all do, and we've all talked about it ad nauseum.
Of course he respects the transfer of power, except for the one time when he didn't.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know what the point is of talking to these people. This is CNN Laura Coates and George Conway talking about what Johnson said.
Well, we talked about something ad nauseum, but not his respect for the transfer of power, George.
Yeah, I think Jonah's addiction metaphor, or actually it really is, there really probably is a dopamine aspect to it, is really apt even to this, because the Republican Party has become addicted to lies under Trump. And this is just an example. The pretense that Donald Trump cares about the Constitution, the pretense that he didn't try to overthrow the Constitution, the pretense that, as Donald Trump has been saying, the people who went up to Capitol Hill on January 6th and then were prosecuted are hostages.
Not to mention he just put two insurrectionists on the Intelligence Committee. In Scott Perry and Ronnie Jackson.
Absolutely. And if we want to talk about hostages on January 6th, let's talk about the House and the Senate that were literally locked in a room because they were afraid to leave because they were storming the Capitol. Well, all the ones that helped it happen seem to be the ones that were pooping in their pants the most. But
because
Josh Hawley, I'm talking to you.
What's the word I'm looking for? Because you are smarter than I am.
Not true.
Things I maybe am a little impatient with Merrick Garland about. I still don't get why these members of Congress that were involved in the insurrection. What do you have any sense what's happening?
I actually don't either. I mean, all of this stuff that they're going, all of the people that stormed, they're going after Donald Trump as they should be for putting this whole thing, orchestrating it together. It's mind-blowing to me that they have not investigated the people of Congress unless we don't know what's happening and it's behind closed doors, and all of a sudden, like we saw in Arizona with the fake electors and all these other states with the fake electors, that all of a sudden, boom, indictments come out. Yeah. Boom, subpoenas come out. But honestly, I don't know, Steph. I don't know why they haven't been investigating all of them. I don't know why Ted Cruz, who stood up and actually interrupted the process for the state of Arizona, isn't being investigated. He doesn't even belong in the state.
And it goes all the way up to Alito, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
There's all these people involved that we don't know the half of it yet, I don't think, in terms of what they had planned, why, they knew Pence wasn't going to be there. Like, who am I thinking of? The old guy, Grassley. Like, why did that they had this ready to go to Alito? Like, this was a whole coup plan that went all the way to the top, and it's just
I know, and that's why all these people that are like, I can't hold my nose and vote for Biden. If you do that, you will be part of electing Trump. Yeah. And if Trump gets into the White House, all of these investigations will go away.
And you got Ginny Thomas texting with Mark Meadows. I mean, talk about going all the way to the top. This whole coup plan it's
or
just,
the bottom, but yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Okay, one last one, George Conway.
in light of that, it's just impossible to say that Donald Trump, with any honesty, to say that Donald Trump supports the Constitution and doesn't, and it's impossible to say that. And Speaker Johnson manages to do that. And he does that because the Republicans just lie casually now. And that's just become a way of life for the Republican Party.
I ask this to everybody. It just, to George's point, it's just become a solid wall of lies. And I ask everyone that comes on, because everybody's a unique little smart snowflake on our show, is how do you, how do you combat it? Except just now until November is just us going nah.
Exactly.
I don't like just nah. Everything they say is no. That is a lie.
Well, I think there's probably, with a lot of these people, them speaking the truth at some point on tape and them lying on some point on tape and making sure, like, we've got people that can sift through all of this footage, find it, make ads, put it out in their districts, make sure that their constituents know that they're lying to them.
And we were saying that this starts with, Rupert Murdoch ordering the Wall Street Journal to do a piece about how old Joe Biden is, and then it gets repeated on every local Sinclair station verbatim, And it just keeps, like, it's an echo chamber, right?
It is, and unfortunately, really bad Republicans own a lot of the media that is the one that is lying to the general public, and so it's hard to combat that when you've got actual news stations like MSNBC and, most of the time CNN. There's exceptions, but, like, they're not necessarily run by really rich Democrats that have an agenda. They're really trying to put out the news, but then you've got Rupert Murdoch and all these people just putting out whatever they want on Fox News. It's very hard to combat. It's about money, and they have a lot of it on their end.
Yep, absolutely. Got to get your take. Midas Touch tweeted, Republicans are seething at the fact that the DOJ secured a conviction of Hunter Biden. They whined for days about a rigged jury, claimed Hunter would be acquitted. When that didn't happen, they didn't admit they were wrong. They simply moved on to the next conspiracy theory because in MAGA world, rage and conspiracy theories are what sell. Whenever their predictions fail to materialize, they simply move the goalposts and start pushing their next lie. There you go, right? They had a script ready no matter what happens.
Absolutely. They're going to do it every single time. We have to be on our toes, and we need to make sure that we have a response.
Okay. Meanwhile, can I just say, Andrew Weissman asked some good questions. Trump probation report, he said on Threads. Will Trump be required to give probation access to tax returns, medical records, college records, all the stuff he has sought to keep from the public? I don't know if we're going to find out what happened, but doesn't any normal, how many special considerations does he get, I wonder?
I wonder as well. We have a justice system. Hunter Biden just got convicted on 3 counts. He will be punished accordingly. Donald Trump was convicted on 34 counts and should be punished accordingly if our justice system was fair and worked. So we'll see what happens. He should absolutely have to go through every single hoop, every single, jump of that any other felon who's been convicted has to go through on parole.
The whole Zoom thing, I get it. Security and privacy for other people at the courthouse, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, but how does he get to have his lawyer with him? No other defendant gets to have the lawyer with it. How does he get out of drug testing? No one else gets out. It's all of this stuff that it just, we have to, when we say we should have one system of justice, we should mean it.
I absolutely agree with you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on.
It seems easier that way.
Yeah, right.
No, we were just talking about this ridiculous, them, holding Merrick Garland in contempt because he won't, he gave them the transcript of the Biden interview, but they won't give the audio, so they can, of course, cut it up and try to, use it in a campaign ad, right?
Exactly. At least Merrick Garland's standing his ground on that, and I'm glad he is. I know you don't agree with him on everything, but sometimes he makes the right decision.
Well, okay, first of all, Johnson, here's the other thing. What's his name? Speaker Johnson. Like on cue, he's like, oh, well, Donald Trump was obviously innocent and it's a political persecution and Hunter Biden was obviously guilty. So apples and oranges. It just, to their point, it might have stopped. Goalposts, it doesn't matter. Right. They just move it. Right?
Absolutely. This is a Department of Justice that is under the Biden administration who happens to be the father of the defendant. If he was manipulating the justice system, if he was controlling the justice system, there is zero chance he would let his son possibly go to prison. It's absurd. They know this. It's all they can do because they wanted to, vilify the justice system. And all of a sudden, the Department of Justice actually did what it was supposed to do. And now they're like,
Do you agree with me that Alvin Bragg should have told them to stuff it? The problem is they know they're lying. Like, of course, Alvin Bragg, like, you know, of course he needs to come and, like, defend the truth and say, of course, the DOJ didn't order this, and there's no connection at all between the DOJ and you know, a Manhattan prosecution. But they're not doing it in good faith. He's going in good faith. They're not asking him to come in good faith, are they?
Absolutely. And at this point, we should not expect anything different from the Republican Party.
Hey, all. Glenn Kirshner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kirshner wherever you generally get your podcasts.